Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars, some of my favourite people, and we've got a jackpot today. Michele Dotrice is the English actress who took the world by storm as Betty in the wonderful sitcom by the BBC, Some Mothers Do Have 'Em. Since then, she's had a non-stop career appearing in everything from Captain Jack with Bob Hoskins, also Midsummer Murders and Holby, and of course, she's currently taking the West End by storm in The Importance of Being Earnest, which is about to go live to 350 cinemas, no pressure there then, as well as the London's Vaudeville Theatre on Thursday the 8th of October. And I'm delighted to say Michele joins us on the phone now. How are you, Michele?
Hi, Alex. Nice to speak with you. I'm great, thank you. I've just come off stage. We've just done a matinee. And so it's a pleasure to speak to you.
Do you know, it's such a joy, and here's why. I grew up watching you on TV, and you're one of those actresses that has formed a career and a life in show business, and it's much harder to do than people think.
Oh, that's true. And the older you get, the harder it gets too. But no, I've been very fortunate and very lucky. I've had I've had a blessed career really, and starting way back, 40 odd years back, with Some Mothers, and I did an awful lot even before Some Mothers. But no, I've been very lucky, Alex, and the thing I'm in at the moment, The Importance of Being Earnest, is a great joy. So no, I'm a lucky lady.
You've done a lot of serious stuff, but I mean, with The Importance or Some Mothers, these are great comedies. They're farcical. They've got a lot in common, actually, when you think about it.
I never thought of it that way.
They've both got the same type of humour.
David Suchet.
Yes,
Did you know, David, that The Importance of Being Earnest has got a lot in common with Some Mothers Who Have 'Em?
He's a modern-day Frank Spencer, really, when you think about it.
Modern-day Frank Spencer, I love it. Well, he looks amazing in his corset and his high-heeled boots and his hats and wigs. As Lady Bracknell, he looks quite astonishing. In fact, I feel positively ugly in comparison.
Well, I think once he's done in the West End, he could forge a career in Soho. I think there's...
Yep, that's true. Or go next door to do Kinky Boots.
There you go. It's a good show, as is yours. I want to know about putting on this spectacular every day. With any comedy, it's all in the timing. How difficult is it being funny 8 times a week?
Very good question. The great thing is you're as good as your script, and we've got one of the finest with Oscar Wilde, considering he wrote it 125 years ago, and to hear the gales of laughter, Alex, is just so rewarding, and the standing ovations after every show. It's fantastic, and so it makes it a pleasure, not a hardship. And the characters are they leap off the page, they really do. And each of them have such a wonderful storyline. Each of the characters, and particularly Miss Prism, who I play, has got one heck of a secret that she's been carrying for 28 years. It's not a hardship in any way. It requires a lot of energy and a lot of concentration. But it's the happiest of companies I've ever been in. And of course, being led by David, who is a supreme artist. And we don't lark about on the stage at all. We each come on and give it our all because of him and because of Oscar. Yeah. So that I think we're all enjoying the challenge enormously. And we actually started with a 6-week tour before we came into London, so we've been doing it for quite some time now, but the days, the weeks just fly by, so that's always a good sign that you're having a wonderful time, and it has been an absolute joy, and we finish on the 7th of November, but as you mentioned, next week we do this wonderful live broadcast. They come to the production and broadcast it live. I think actually it's over 500 cinemas throughout England and Ireland and various countries in Europe, a lot of countries in Europe, and it goes out live that night on the 8th of October which is Thursday week.
Yeah.
And then on the 4th of November, it goes out all across America and worldwide. So that's extraordinary to think, that this little show here at the Vaudeville is going to be seen by millions and millions of people. And, that's so rewarding and so exciting. We're all very sort of nervous and geared up for it.
This is so wordy and clever. I guess the more brilliant the script, the more disciplined you have to be in delivering it. There's no ad-libbing.
No, there isn't, Alex, no. I mean, there are, as David calls it, the occasional skating, where because it is so wordy, you have a blind spot, but you get through it.
Yes.
But it's not in any way deliberate, no. It's too fine and too crafted a piece to lark about. You would just do disjustice.
Yeah.
Is that a word? Can you say disjustice?
You can. You're Michele Dotrice. You can say what you like. Yeah. And as for doing it for the cinema, will there be any changes, or do you do the same show that I get if I see it in the West End?
Well, that's also a good question. And this is something we're discussing with the film director tomorrow, because we are all obviously very concerned with that very question. Are we doing a theatre performance, or because we're going to be on a 20-foot screen throughout the world, do we bring it down? I think, quite frankly, my gut reaction is we do it as a theatre performance.
Yeah.
That is what, the punters will be coming to next Thursday to see, those people who've paid to come and see the show, and they don't want a reduced performance. They want to come and see what we do every night. So I think people understand in the cinema this is a theatre production that you're seeing. And consequently, so it's unlike television, where, yes, you have to really draw back, but I think certainly that people are coming to see a theatre production. And that's the wonderful thing for those people who are unable to get to the Vaudeville in London. It's an opportunity for them to catch this splendid production. That might not be able to, but they can in the cinema. So, what a great thing that they do this.
Is there anything more thrilling than walking through the heart of London into the West End via Leicester Square and seeing your name on a billboard outside a theatre?
Do you know that when was it? 4 years ago, I did at the Garrick Theatre, When We Are Married, and I hadn't been in the West End because my beloved late husband, Edward Woodward, and we were in America for a very long time while he was doing The Equalizer and, various things in America. So and also we had a daughter, and I kind of had a bit of a step back from my career in order to, to help him and be with him and care for him. And so when he passed away, I was asked to do this production 4 years ago at the Garrick, and when literally I arrived the day that we were doing, the run-up to the previews, and got out of the taxi and saw my name up there, I burst into tears.
Yeah.
I just couldn't stop weeping on the pavement. And people are walking by and coming up to me, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" I said, "No, I'm ever so happy."
Oh, fabulous.
It is, you're right. It is a great privilege, and I never take that lightly. There are so many wonderful, wonderful actors and actresses struggling, and who would give their eye teeth to be playing, the parts that I've been privileged to play. So no, it's a great honour and exciting, and I'm very lucky at my ancient age to still be doing it.
Well, I've done a lot of research. I've been looking into you, and I've been thinking about Edward today because he was the love of your life. He was also your best friend. I wonder whether the only consolation to that tragedy of losing your best friend is the fact that his legacy will live on forever on DVD and on screen. It must be wonderful to go back and watch him.
Absolutely, and of course, he was a fantastic singer, Alex, and he made many albums, and now CDs, and he had the most exquisite voice. So yes, no, it's lovely to see him, pop up in The Wicker Man and Breaker Morant and all these wonderful movies, classic movies. And of course, all the wonderful television he did, Callan and Equalizer and everything. But he was a great theatre actor. That was his greatest joy. He loved the theatre. And, I think most actors would say that to you. That's where you learn your craft. And it's the thing that really teaches you, how to be an actor. Being in front of an audience.
Yeah.
And so you're quite right. I do have that great pleasure, and so does our daughter, having her daddy still visible. And
he lives on.
Yes, and I know he's up in that dress circle every night saying, "Now, what are you doing? You missed a laugh there, darling."
Get your timing right. I wonder, do you give him a quick nod before you go on stage when you're stood in the wings?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, always.
Yeah. And then when I look at your career, I mean, it's so incredible the gifts you've been given in so many roles, as we talked of in the beginning, and most famously on TV, where some others do have them. And of course, for people of my generation, I mean, we just love it and we continue to love it. It must be thrilling to know that it made such an impact that it's still being repeated and bought on DVD today.
Yeah, no, it is. Michael came actually last week to see the show. And because he lives in New Zealand and Los Angeles, and he flew in and came to see it, and absolutely loved Importance. And he has been a true friend since I lost Edward. He's sort of come back into my life again, and our daughter's Emily life as well. And he phones up, regularly, once a fortnight, to check all's well.
Did he encourage you to get back on the stage as well after that period?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. No, he was very instrumental in that, and encouraged me to get back. And I think, it's the one thing that really does help. It really does give you strength. And I think it's very, very important. But to get back to what you said about some mothers, it is wonderful that it still goes out regularly on television and is in front of a new audience each time, a new generation. Because it's 42 years, 43 years or something since we made it. I mean, Jessica's got to be 105 now. It's ridiculous. I mean, what the heck?
She's a lawyer in the Navy, isn't she? And I know you talked about working with Michael again at some point. Has anything happened with that? Is that likely to happen?
I can't really say, actually, at the moment, but yes.
Oh.
Yeah, possibly. Next year. But I can't really say anything about it. But certainly, yes, we're always on the lookout for something to do together.
Is it strange when you look back at those DVDs or whether you see it on TV? Is it like looking at your granddaughter? How do you feel about her now?
Oh, gosh, you're so right. It's like looking at my daughter. It's so strange. Emily is, 32 now, but looks very, very young. And, of course, gets totally embarrassed when she sees my outfits with platforms and bunches and everything else. And, but, no, it all comes round, because then I say, darling, what are you wearing? You're wearing platforms. You've got bunches. It's come round. So no, I look on it, Alex, very fondly.
Yeah, well, so you should. And may I say, from a male point of view, Betty helped me get through puberty. I don't want to get too... No, please. I don't want to be inappropriate, but she was beautiful. I mean, what a stunner.
Oh, I'm blushing.
We could have made our own little Jessica. Don't you worry about that.
I helped you to get through puberty. I am so embarrassed.
Tell David about that. See what he has to say. Especially why he's wearing his corsets.
Funny.
Do you know, I've loved talking to you. Thank you so much for your time,
bless
Michele.
Your heart. Lovely to talk to you, and I hope your listeners have not found me too boring.
Absolutely not. You're a legend and you're a star.
See us here at the Vaudeville, or to watch it next on the 8th of October in the cinema. That would be a great joy. I can assure them they would love it.
Seeing The Importance of Earnest with David Suchet and, of course, Michele Dotrice is a true thrill, seeing two pros in action. The Oscar Wilde play will be live across 350 cinemas on the 8th of October, as we said, starring David and, of course, Michele. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a great pleasure.
And mine too. God bless.